Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you to those that have joined us in the room. Thank you to those that have joined us online. I'd like to call to order the regular monthly business meeting for January 9th, 2026 for the Island Transit Board of Directors. Roll call. I apologize, guys. James P. Marrow.
Present.
Craig Sear.
Present.
Melanie Bacon.
Here.
Janet Sinclair. I think is in transit. Okay. Danny Julie.
She's online.
Oh, she is?
Just got in.
Oh, Janet Sinclair has joined us online. Oh, I see her. Great. Jill Johnson is excused for today's meeting, and I am Jenny Bright, your host. Has everyone had a chance to look at the agenda? Just to ensure we did have a change that was distributed, just want to make sure that everyone's looking at the right version of that. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved to approve as presented. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Has anyone had an opportunity to review the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda. Second.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Point of order.
Aye.
Oh, so
You should ask, should any items be pulled off the consent agenda?
Oh, should any items be pulled off the consent agenda? No, hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Sear. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. At this time, I'm going to invite you lovely people to join us. We are going to go into executive session to review the performance of a public employee. We will be in executive session for 15 minutes. And Terrence is going to remain in the room with us. For those non-board members online, you will be placed in the waiting room. And we will have you rejoin us when we come back to the general meeting. I will wait.
Jenny, do I say?
Starting.
Give everybody a chance to come back into the room. Okay, we are returning to our regular session from executive session where no action was taken. The next agenda item is public input and comment. This is the time set aside for members of the public to speak to the board about subjects of concern or interest or items not already set aside for a public hearing. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Public comment may be ended or modified if the comments become disruptive or are not germane to business at hand. Input requiring lengthier comment is best submitted in writing. Do we have any public comments from online?
I will, and that's the other thing, I will.
No. Yeah.
I don't see any.
Okay, thank you, Jeannie. Any public comments from in the room?
Could we
Hearing
please
none,
mute our
close.
participants, Meg?
What?
Could we please mute participants who are not on mute if they're not making public
Yeah,
input? It's hard to hear what's going on in the room when there's
Yeah.
background noise.
thank you, Janet. Okay, so we'll close public input and comments at this time, and we're gonna go to business item number 1. Authorization for staff to conduct the March 2026 service change as presented. And I'm going to hand the discussion first over to our executive director, Melinda Adams.
Okay, exciting new changes coming. So I wanted to just do a quick intro. Brad is going to give us a really nice presentation about our March 2026 proposed service changes. This service change largely involves the north end of the island. We have looked closely at our on-demand service on the Navy base. It's commingling with paratransit service and the effects that it's had on on-time performance. We have focused on this area first by replacing on-demand with fixed route scheduled service that we believe over time will have greater ridership and a more dependable schedule. Community outreach and consultation with Commander O'Byrne and the base support this choice. We chose to start here with a closer look at on-demand and will expand, later into other service areas through robust outreach and our long-range planning process. We'll monitor ridership on this new fixed route, which will take time to grow. Essentially, we will be monitoring 12 to 18 months to increase ridership and have some robust education with the help of the Navy base to stimulate that ridership. Brad's also gonna identify additional highlights of the service change in his presentation. So I just wanted to start us off. Brad.
Brad.
Good morning, everyone. Our March 2026 proposed service changes, as Melinda pointed out, does center around two major changes. And then I will also talk about several smaller changes. And we're going to be converting the NASWE and Zone 6 on-demand zones into fixed route service. We'll be talking today about why we're going to be doing this service change, what the exact proposed changes are today, what we heard from the public when we went out for our public meetings, as well as what we heard from staff when we surveyed operators, and we had a specific period where we asked employees to comment both on Whidbey and Camino. And then we'll go through the staff recommendation for the service change. So next slide. We're having some challenges that we have recognized with our on-demand service. And what is creating these challenges is that our service is commingled with our paratransit service, which causes an interference between the two, because when you try to serve two masters, you don't do either one justice. There's some low usage for the on-demand zones, and we've heard from the public that they are difficult to use. So next slide. So our change in the NASWE zone involves, it's really two different services that we're doing throughout the week. On weekdays, we're going to have 6 runs, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, that are going to connect Altfield with base housing as well as Harbor Station. We feel that this will do a very good job. Our routing that we've put out there has been positively received by both base staff and as well at the public meetings. It will provide consistent, frequent service without a need to book a trip. So it's going to make it easier for sailors as well as other personnel that work on base and the families to explore, shop, and engage in our community. We think this is going to increase the Navy's economic impact and enhance, our local economic activity across the county by benefiting both the service members and the residents. This connection between the base and the community. Our proposed service that we're looking at here on weekdays, because right now NASWE on-demand zone only functions on weekdays. We'll cover, we went back and looked at the last 6 months of trips that were taken. We will cover over 900 of the 1,080 trips that were taken in the last 6 months of 2025. So the public feedback that we have gotten on this is that it's going to be good at connecting Altfield with the seaplane base. So on weekdays, that is our run between base housing and Harbor Station and Altfield. On the weekend, what we're going to be doing is we're going to operate 9 runs starting at 8 a.m. in the morning. The last run will be at 4 p.m. It'll be hourly service, and it'll run from Harbor Station to Altfield. It'll go down to the Navy Exchange, and then it'll go back to Altfield and then to Harbor Station. And so this provides a connection for the base is telling us they have a lot of sailors that live in the barracks that do not have cars. And this will enable those folks to be able to get off base. They'll get into town. They can go to, get some coffee. They can get a meal. They can swing by Walmart. It gets them out and makes them a part of our community. So that's the 9 runs that we'll do on weekends, and that weekend service is totally new. And the public feedback that we got on that was very positive. For our proposed Route 6 changes, right now we have Route 6 that operates on weekdays, but there's still an on-demand zone that covers the Admiral's Cove area. That area, we will extend the Route 6 to cover that. That was previously done several years ago when the on-demand zone was started. Route 6 at that time did serve Admiral's Cove. So we're restoring that service is what we're doing. We're also restoring the weekend service that existed back then on Route 6. Right now, we only have on-demand service south of Coopville. And the Route 6 doesn't operate at all. So there's no service out of like the West Beach Road area in that on weekends. So that extending Route 6 on the weekends will restore those services that went away with the introduction of on-demand. It'll maintain our 11 trips on weekdays. It adds 7 trips per day on Saturdays and Sundays. We've had very positive public feedback comment. We had one that was an existing writer for the on-demand service, and he basically said, you know, that he uses it as his last ditch if he can't find another option, and he was thrilled that fixed route was coming back because he had used it before. We had another lady come in, and her daughter lives in the Admiral's Cove area and uses the on-demand service, but is very much looking forward to using fixed route service, and will definitely be using us more often because of that regular service and not having to make reservations and plans in advance. Our other proposed changes that came from either public comments or employee comments, we had some requests to alter the start time for some runs that came from the 60 northbound on weekdays. So this was a high school student who was in Langley, and our bus went by, started. So by altering our schedule 5 minutes, we're going to be able to hit the high school afterwards. So kids will be able to make it out in time to catch the bus. And then on the one northbound, we had some ferry riders who contacted us, and there was, I believe, one run that started 5 minutes before the ferry left. And so by pushing that back, we're now going to be meeting that ferry and providing better service on the weekends. Some of the employee comments that we've gotten here was about ways to streamline the one northbound and the Route 60 northbound when the Clinton commuter is present in the afternoon. We also got some routing suggestions to balance the Route 1 for those who are not familiar with it when it comes through the island. Some of the runs go down Smuggler's Cove, some of them stay on 525, and the employees came up with some pretty good suggestions about balancing our service between the two. Then we had a few other small minor adjustments to improve reliability and optimize our schedule, adjusting time points, those kind of things, where we've noticed where we're making bus drivers maybe wait because it's a time point, because they're arriving there before the time point on a regular basis. So just kind of streamlined our service.
I think we have a question online. Commissioner St. Clair, did you have a question?
No, I had a comment. First of all, I was really pleased to see the Admiral's Cove changes here. And, you know, I just met with the base this week about housing and other issues. And we talked about Admiral's Cove. But not only does it serve our base personnel, that is a community where you've got a lot of families. And to add that fixed route for young people, so for me, it's an economic development conversation. The youth employment, spousal employment, all of that, those routes help us with those employment challenges that transit is often so critical for. And then, so thank you for that. I think that's going to be really good for our community. The other comment I have is adjusting to the ferry schedule is something that we've been asked for a while. So I appreciate being really intentional about that, because those are, again, our workforce that's trying to commute and keep cars off the road and all of that. So just constantly rechecking ourselves. It's a challenge because the ferry system isn't as reliable in their timing as we perhaps would like them to be. And so our reliability and timing ends up at flux and at odds sometimes. I think that's true, but if that is wrong, please correct me.
Any other questions from online? See that, I don't know. So Brad, you said something in the beginning of your presentation about 12 to 18 months. Am I correct in understanding? Oh, was it you? Okay, one of you said it. So does that mean that we will look 12 to 18 months and that is gonna be kind of the baseline for whether or not this is successful?
Well, essentially, to really see improved ridership over time, that's a typical timeline. In working with Commander O'Byrne, we're setting expectations. He's been wanting this change for a long time, and we concur that, it will likely be much improved, but we need his assistance and that of the base to really promote these services there. It also falls in line with getting agencies on the buses. So, it's a good measure. I think what I'm trying to do is set an expectation that we can't expect to see ridership, just skyrocket next month,
And
right?
that's why I
It's a-
brought it up. We're
it's
giving
a-
ourselves.
Yes, exactly. It's a long period of time to really, realize this.
And I would add on to that, that people's commuting habits, people are slow to change on their commuting habits. And when you have like the base housing, you have families that are going. And so right now, you have a lot of folks who have found out they already know how they get to work every day. So when we introduce this service, some of them may change, some of them may not. As new families come in, and that's a community that has that rotation to it. When new families come in and they see this option, then that's something that we'll probably see over time more take advantage of. If you've already bought the second commuter car, you're probably gonna be using that car because you've made that investment. But a new family coming in will be like, hey, this is a great way to save money. I'm gonna utilize the bus. And then my car can stay at home and my spouse can use that to get to and from work and maybe deal with the kids. And I'll use the bus to get to and from base housing to the base. And so that growth over time will happen.
Brad, will these changes, because we had in one of the early slides, the commingling of the paratransit, will these changes completely eliminate commingling of paratransit or just with respect to these changes?
On the north side, it will. We still have, the zone 3, that is out there, and we have the zone 58 on the south end.
Thank
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Brad. A couple of questions. Overall, what's the impact of the operators? Do we need more operators to support this, or we're redeploying from on-demand to fixed, so there's not a significant impact?
We're gonna be utilizing our existing workforce in that we have 63 positions budgeted right now. We will not need to add to that number, but we will have more, definitely be putting more hours out on the street. So we'll have more drivers that are getting hours.
Okay. Secondly, following up, Commissioner St. Clair about, say, just as an example, Admiral's Cove. How do we let the residents of Admiral's Cove know about these changes, that they have new transit options driving through their neighborhood?
So we're gonna be working on that. We have a number of public meetings that we're scheduling throughout the county and on Camino as well. So that we're gonna try to do that, and we're trying to do some non-traditional things that we've done before, like we're reaching out to the base. So, one of the target markets here is people living in the barracks. So how do we market to them and let them know that this service that they really haven't encountered before is there? And you also have people there who are from all over the United States, and they may be from areas where they don't have bus service and have never seen it. And you're gonna have kids from New York City who are like, hey, hot dang, bus, all right, yeah, I know how to do this. So that's one of these things where we're gonna work on with the base, getting out and going through base staff. They have agreed to help us get the public education campaign going. We're gonna try to do stuff on base, maybe have a day where we have practice runs where they can just hop on and try it out, where we just run back and forth from the barracks to the Navy Exchange to show them how the bus works, to try to build that ridership and do that public education.
So another question is, you mentioned streamlining the 1 northbound, 16 northbound with the Clinton commuter. What exactly does that mean?
So right now, we have all of the sixties and the ones pull into the Clinton Park and Ride on every trip. So, sometimes, when the Clinton commuter is out there, its whole purpose is to run between the ferry dock and the Park and Ride and take it. So what we have is we have buses that are following the Clinton commuter up, even though they don't have anybody on there. And so we'll make that an on request. So if they depart the ferry docks and they don't have anybody on their bus requesting to go to the Clinton Park and Ride, then then they can just go straight.
Okay. Just a general comment, the board's heard me say this before, is I do look forward to a service change that includes an increased frequency during commuting hours. And I know there's benefits to the off commute hour, you and I had a discussion earlier today. But I frequently get comments about, well, like to see a number one northbound at 4 p.m. rolling out of Clinton, a number one northbound rolling out of Clinton at 5 p.m. In fact, I got a comment the other day, yesterday, that let you know about this. There's a fellow on the ferry told me a day before yesterday that they own a motorcycle because there's not a 30-minute number one northbound service. So I've had numbers of riders, commuters looking for the number one northbound every.
And we shared that with our long range planning partners yesterday.
Good.
What are the, James Pinero and then commissioners?
I'm impressed with the fact that the granular end user emphasis, because innovating in order to get increased ridership requires us to look at where the demand is. So for instance, you said at 8 o'clock, bus run at a certain time.
Yeah.
But that 8 o'clock, I mean, there's many service members that have to show, they have their show time at 07:30. And so what I'm describing to you is, it's possible to aim at the right target, but not get it precisely right. And it can make the difference between the people who would use it to get to work or not get to work. So I'm just using that as an example, that you're the professional, so whatever you think, I'm with it, I'm going with it. So shotgun approach does not work, but this is great that you're broadening the base of ridership. And it's very impressive because it stands to compound. So just like in urban development, you start something here and kind of expands out in building and commerce. Same thing with the ridership. If the word gets out there, I'm also impressed too to increase the Admiralty Code, because we want to be able to have a broader base of ridership. Because the tendency is to say, well, the only people that desperately need transportation are going to ride a free bus and deal with transit. But the idea of going to Admiralty Cove, I mean, that's not exactly a ghetto. So, so what I'm describing to you is that I love the flow of the expansiveness of these ideas, but and also the hours of Skagit College. There's numerous courses, I think, that start at 8 a.m. I mean, I'm not sure of that, but at least when I was in college, that was the case. So in order to have students be able to get to the college in time, then the timing should be adjusted. That's all.
Commissioner St. Clair, did you have a comment or question?
Quick comment, I'm sure you're aware, but just in case you're not, that there's a very strong HOA in Admiral's Cove, and they have newsletters and announcements that go out to all of the folks there.
That's an excellent point, and we will utilize that.
Any other questions online?
Great,
Thank you, Brad. Business item number 2, Community Advisory Committee update.
Are we passing a motion?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a motion. I'm sorry, you guys. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay.
Maybe Jan will make the motion since we have our stuff together.
So I would prefer, I've got to go back to finding the agenda. Craig, make the motion and I'll second it.
Well, I move we authorize the staff to conduct the March 2026 service change as presented.
Second.
Oh, wait. Give her the second.
I got to get in the minutes somewhere.
Sorry, y'all. We have a motion and a second to authorize the staff to conduct the March 2026 service change as presented, including restructuring that Naval Air Station would be in Zone 6 on-demand services and related service refinements. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Now we will go to business item number 2. And Craig, thank you for always keeping me on the straight and narrow.
you don't need.
Community Advisory Committee updates. Our beloved VMAG.
VMAG.
VMAG. Helen. VMAG or fancy building. I want to steal all of our funds. It's a little close.
So this is a follow-up from my update that I did in October on the CAC Community Advisory Committee. And going to bring you up to speed, we have completed the guidelines. They're with reviewed by legal. They're with Melinda now for final review, and then we will put those aside. And we're working on the application. We're doing the rest of these things, or I'm sorry, I've got ahead of myself. The guidelines are covering all these topics, right, in the section. And I was at Matt's reviewed it, and it was based on some other agencies, programs, and Melinda has it named. So we are gonna have at least 4, no more than 7. It's a voluntary group. And right now, we are reaching out to folks, putting out feelers to see where we should extend on applications. It's still an application process. If you're aware of anything, any group that's out there that organization, let me know.
You want us to help get the word out?
Let's wait till we get the application,
Okay.
so that when we talk about it.
So that you have one to get.
Yeah, so we have,
Okay, but these are
But
the
then, yeah.
sources then that we're gonna be,
yeah. we have to
handling the
cover-
application to.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
We'll do a letter, just sort of a generic letter and letting people know it's out there, it's coming, and then include the application, so they have it. You put it online. We're gonna accept the applications year round. And, the executive director will have the final selection as we go through. We're looking to have these folks help us with the long range plan and agency strategy, etc.
TDP. Can I ask a question?
Other things.
So on the applications, year round, so once we have selected the group, will we continue to accept applications and keep them on file, or only when we have an opening? Or is there a selection process here? Do you know that yet?
I haven't thought that through.
Okay,
It may be something like having a next to hire list.
okay.
Just kind of keep a list of people who've expressed interest, so we can reach out again when they're an opening.
And so I guess the jackpot question is, we will be having the Fair and Peers, our contractors, will be attending a half day at our board retreat to talk about the long range planning process. So will we have everything ready to go and hopefully applications in? I would want to say no later than April.
Yeah, we need them. It's one of our most important tools for reaching the communities
Sure.
throughout Island County, especially since we're, 2 islands that stretched out. And, so yeah, it'll be ready,
Thank you.
more than ready, really, and we'll have gone through onboarding, we'll have. They'll have come here, they'll have, a tour, they'll be ready to step right into. Please on the next steps.
I have a question.
Commissioner St. Clair, did you have a question?
I did, thank you. My first question is, I appreciate all these groups. These are really well thought out. Megan, thank you. I'm assuming we're going to have some geography. We're going to try to do this geographically, but I want to make sure I'm not wrong in my assumption, meaning that we have some South Whidbey representation, North Whidbey, and Camino representation, that we have some representation of these different stakeholders, but also of our different geographies.
Yes, absolutely.
And then when we finalize this process, that we have some agreement and charter for terms, etc., to the earlier question.
In the guidelines, we have terms, and
That's what I
they're
thought.
escaping me right now, but they're not super long. To
That's
give us
fine.
some
That's
flexibility,
what I thought.
but there are terms.
Thank you.
Overlapping meetings, staggered.
Well, everyone's starting at the first time, at the very same start point. So I can't answer that, but that's a good question.
I just put it forward.
No, I understand.
Um,
Yes, sir.
with regard to the approvals and the city council of Oak Harbor, the citizens commissions, as they're called, or only called, the slate is recommended by the mayor, and then, but is approved by the city council. And I say that only because there have been occasions where the city council shot down particular recommendations for citizen advisory group, which we call commission. So I just put that out there as a comment because, as I understand it, Melinda would be the one who would say, you know, go or no go on anyone. Was that how I understood it? I mean, that would, yeah. So I'm not making a strong position on it. That's just an information item that I think might be useful to consider.
Yes, respond. I think because it's an advisory group, we're just looking for feedback and recommendations, but there's no obligation to accept them.
Well, that is actually the case too with the city council, but I've seen fireworks at general meetings where the city council, you know, the commissions came up with something and the city council shot it down. So it was, I mean, even though it was just advisory. So anyway, it is possible for there to be what I call a wild card commission member.
Sure.
And they want to come on, but they're looking for, you know, public position, or they're looking for, you know, just make themselves feel important or something. This is, I mean, it's speculative, but the point is we did vote out some that were selected by the mayor.
Well, and that is, well, it's an application, so it's not selection, and it's not an appointment, like, you know, board members. So we will have gone through and
I just, as a matter of the record, okay,
But
I mean,
as it evolves too, it can always. change.
right, of course, I'm just letting you know that was an issue.
There's language in there too, that we basically retain control of the.
Okay, that's fine.
So, thank you, Meg, for bringing this forward. And my only comment is, it seems obvious to me, but I just want to make it clear, but the volunteers that we would expect to put in their applications would either ride Island Transit services or want to ride transit services, but can't at the moment. You know, just,
Yes.
it needs to be somebody with demonstrated interest
Yes,
in
yes.
moving people around Island County.
Thank you.
no more questions. No.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will move to our executive director's report.
I will make this quick, but want to point out that we just had our Employee of the Year and Employee of the Half selections. And it's my pleasure to announce that on Whidbey Island, Employee of the Half was Raphael. Raphael is our parts coordinator in the maintenance department, but he is so much more than that. In 2025, he took on the monumental task of reorganizing, revamping, and truly a complete overhaul of our parts department. He's skillfully worked with our parts vendors to achieve credit for obsolete parts, organized and labeled all the parts in the department. Of course, he recognized an entire team of people that assisted him in this, because that's the kind of team member that he is. He collaborated, identified issues and collaborated with our auditors to ensure the parts department is in compliance. And he works closely with the team to ensure a new process and semi-annual inventory process is a success. So we just want to thank him and recognize him for all of his support and dedication. He worked countless hours on the weekends to make the deadline so that we could get our semi-annual inventory kicked off in January and be in compliance. So congratulations to him. And then for Camino, Employee of the Year is Jerry Simmons. And Jerry is much more than a facilities technician, receiving multiple nominations from his coworkers and supervisors. He is described as an employee who consistently goes the extra mile, ensures everything is clean and set for our operators and customers. He sets a high bar, possesses a positive attitude, and leads by example. He is a great communicator and responsive to the overall needs of the operations at Camino. He consistently works extra shifts and flexes his days off to ensure proper coverage. And we are just thrilled to have him on board. When I had my initial one-on-one with Jerry, he came in with an 8.5 by 11 list of items that could be done to improve not only the working environment, but the things that we could do in the community. And we just want to thank him and recognize him for the commitment, not only to Island Transit, but the community. Brats. Quick note, our WISTIP, also known as the Washington State Transit Insurance Pool that we belong to, in November, Island Transit participated, and I say participated, we had a best practice audit. We did extremely well. Out of 155 sections, we had only 2 areas of moderate concern. That was a huge green line for us. Areas of concern fell under operator training and securement. Operator training, it's best practice to receive a 6-month evaluation at the end of probation. However, our current contract states 120 days. So that was just a difference that we will talk about in our next negotiating opportunity. We will, securement best practice is to provide education to riders who refuse safety restraints. We do a very good job of education, not only from our operators, but our trainers. This at times is difficult when you're on fixed route, however, but the operators are very good at having a conversation with each new passenger. So we'll be taking a look at ways to improve that. Last, I'd like to talk about a couple of projects. Long range plan, we had our kickoff meeting yesterday with Fair and Peer, and they will be attending, as I mentioned earlier, our March board retreat. I will be collecting, this is for all board members, I'll be collecting questions in February from board members on the long range planning process to be addressed at the retreat. So what are you interested in? What kind of questions do you have? I want to get those to our contractors so that they can be addressing those up front and take a look at what your interests at the board for our vision of the long range plan. Terry's Corner, this is huge. Pre-construction meeting was held yesterday. Yay. Mobilization is going to commence on February 2nd with final inspection targeted for April 20th, 2026. So huge news. South Whidbey Transit Center, you may recall we talked about taking a look at the Clinton Ferry, the Clinton Park and Ride. Work has commenced on the alternative analysis at the Clinton Park and Ride. The environmental and critical areas team will prepare their findings next week, in addition to a traffic analysis and civil engineering team that will analyze siting for physical impacts. So we're just at the very beginning of this analysis. We will, I have asked for it to be wrapped up by April so that we can take that to our funding partners to determine the level of NEPA, if any, and the the reasonability of or feasibility of using that site for anything in the future. That's all I have.
So who is the environmental and critical areas team?
They come out of KPFF. I'm sorry, I don't have their names right
No,
off.
that's all.
But they are part of our KPFF or a subcontractor thereof. Any other questions, concerns?
Great report.
Thanks.
And next we have our human resources leadership report. Oh, there he is.
He's been playing musical.
I know.
Happy New Year, everyone. Yeah. We this year, everybody's healthy, safe. Alright, so this is our January update. But we'll do it for like the end of the year, since it's the end of the year. But as of December, we have 68 operators, 52 on Whitby, 16 on Camino, and we have 3 operator trainees.
I looked at her, so she flipped the slide. Sorry.
So if you look at it over the course of the year, we're low at January of last year at this time, but we're holding steady now. Right now, we're at 16. We have 3 pretty good trainees in, and how many in the next class, or did we just?
3.
3 in the next class as well, starting.
The CDL training starts on the 19th, orientation is next week.
So we're holding pretty steady. Camino, they never have any vacancies, thank goodness. And here where our vacancies are down to next to none, so we're doing pretty good there.
So hold on, you said we never have vacancies,
Hardly here. Did I say number?
well, still hardly
Yeah.
ever vacancies on Camino.
No, yeah, yeah, since I've been here, it's not one big turn up there. Hardly any turn.
Once you come to Camino, you never want to leave. I just want to point that out to everyone in the room.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's interesting.
Next slide, please. So any year operator data, still holding steady. Our highest point was at 71 in September, and right now we're at 68. We've had our highest points of exits have been fluctuating, but those have been holding steady as well, and we had 0 in the month of December.
Outstanding.
So we're doing pretty good there. Any questions?
One thing that would be helpful is, and we do this on the finance reports, is we have a 13-month calendar displayed. So here, if you see this page, you know, you look to the right here and you see a significant decline, which likely is seasonal. It'd be nice if there was the leading
So we want a 13-month.
13-month instead of.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can have it.
thank you.
Great. Nothing lovely. Okay. Thank you, Terrence. Other business, I will turn it over to our executive director.
Yes, it is, with much bittersweet sadness that I would like to recognize our outgoing union president, Danny, who has been with us over the last year and has worked tirelessly with myself and our team to bridge and build a new relationship between ATU and Island Transit. And this is actually going to be Danny's last meeting with us, and we want to recognize and thank you for your tireless work. I want to thank you for the opportunity you gave me to come in and try and change the nature of our relationship. We had a monumental contract that we were able to collective bargain. And is there any parting words that you would like to say?
Thank you. Yes, I do. I love Island Transit. Hope I can get through this.
Drink your water. You can't cry and drink at the same time.
It starts throwing on.
I really love serving this agency, our membership. It's been, and I shared this with you in our prep call. It's been one of the highlights of my career. This is just an outstanding outstanding agency with amazing people. And it's just been a lovely experience. So very honored to have served.
Well, we can't thank you enough for all of your work, and may we introduce who will be sitting in that
Yes,
seat next
please do.
month.
Yeah.
So I am being doubly blessed, and now we're gonna have Leela with us. Although we do have a new union president, I'm sorry, his name is escaping me.
Just Winterbanes,
Jess Winterbanks,
just Jazz Winterbanes.
Jazz Winterbanks.
He goes by
Uh,
Jazz, he'll keep it easy.
But these two worked it out, so we get to keep Layla on our board. Really happy and welcome. We know that
I have big shoes to fill.
I well, you know, but I have every faith. You have spent time with me. You've been a partner in this relationship. You've done so well for our operators and dispatchers here. And I know Liz and I and Terrence just really working. So welcome.
Very good.
Well,
We're glad.
we're glad to have you. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, and Danny, I wanted to just thank you for your partnership, for your collaboration, and for your friendship. I certainly have learned a tremendous amount from you in this last year. And while Melinda's, she described you as tireless, I would describe you as tireless and selfless. And the work that you've done on behalf of this community has been extraordinary. So I know you will continue to do big things and amazing things, and we will continue to consider you as a partner.
Oh, thank you so much, Jenny. The feelings mutual.
Sir? And I said it was
Um,
crying. Sorry.
Boundless thanks to you. When I stepped into the role as acting director, we had a different relationship between the agency and the union, and it was something that needed to change. So you'll certainly recall, us meeting
I
in
do.
Buckle. And I just thought, I wonder what this is gonna be like sitting down with the union president. And what I was very gratified at the end of that meeting is I felt like we had a connection. And that we had the beginnings of a relationship that developed into trust, which was an accomplishment. And I appreciate your willing to extend grace to a representative of a transit agency that had a difficult relationship. And it's a measure of the current health of the agency. That's a measure of your energy and commitment and all the work that, we've done over the last 15 to 18 months. So I'm gonna miss you sitting right over there, I really am. And keep an eye on us.
So I don't have the depth of history, but I can say just from clear observation that you have the commitment and you have the relationship part down tremendously with regard to negotiation and that is essential, not only just for trust, but just getting things done. So my salute to you, and I hope we'll be seeing you around nonetheless.
Thank you.
And that's all I have for now.
Really sweet. I appreciate that, you guys. And the feeling's mutual. It's been a true joy. The membership here is just amazing. They're dedicated. They love the community. They love the work. They love the agency. And when you have that energy coming in, it makes our job so much easier. So it's top, just a class act across the board. So it's been a joy to work with you.
Good. Janet had to jump off. I think I saw a note from her, so. Okay. Well, seeing no other comments, we will adjourn. All right. Thanks, everyone.